Welcome to the Traditional Way Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Shumway. This podcast is brought to you by the Martial Arts Internet Network, where you can find all things martial arts related on our social media pages and on our website at www.mainternetwork.com, where you can catch up on all the open circuit sport karate news with Inside Scoop, catch a movie review with Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, or find out what's happening in the Jiu-Jitsu and MMA worlds on the Winner's Circle, plus all of our sport karate videos from tournaments, which is now all available on the main app. So if you don't have it, go download it now. It's great. I use it at least once a day. And it's available right now on the Apple and Google stores. On this episode, I'm going to cover the last chance for athletes to win their way into the World Championships. So the first World Championship qualification tournament was held in Paris, France on the 17th through the 19th of October. Now, the first 224 athletes per division have already been chosen for the World Championships through the last World Championships from 2023 and Continental Championships results, leaving 8 places left. Now, 6 of those athletes will be selected at this event. The last 2 will be reserved for either host nation or highest world rankings to make the final 32. Now, I've stated in length many times before, I am not a fan of the new World Championships format. However, I do like the format they used for this event. Since the Worlds will have a round-robin format in the elimination phase, it was also used here in the first round as well. What they did differently in Paris is that they had 12 groups, leaving the winner of each pool to face off in a single match to qualify. Now, I gotta say, I think this is the fairest way to do it. I mean, why would you do a knockout-style event in a round if the round-robin format will be used at the Worlds? The only caveat to this, and at this event and at the World Championships, is only 1 athlete per country in each division. So it would, if you take a division like male kata, for instance, right? We know that Japan is already taken with Nishiyama. So the next highest world ranking may be someone pretty low on the list, since very few countries are on the top 10 list alongside with Japan. Either way, let's dive into the results from Paris. We start in the minus 50 kilogram division, as the first fight of the qualification round saw a close fight between Katarina Rodriguez and Igorem Tursunbekova, who would fight to a 3-3 tie. Rodriguez secured that match by the Senshu advantage. Same outcome in the second match, as Zuzana Bernicek and Insaf Jabari fight to a 4-4 tie. Jabari had the Senshu and qualifies for Cairo. Third match was very uneventful, as Thai Nguyen and the world number 8, Yi Sang, fight to a 0-0 tie. Nguyen would be awarded the decision. I gotta believe with Sang's ranking, she will be in as well, but you can't guarantee that, and we'll have to see. The next match, Christina Papa squares off against Yulana Markava, where Papa takes that match 4-0. Next, Neve Cosgrove gets taken out pretty decisively by Maya Sharer by a score of 10-2. And in the last qualification match, Teodora Sanivia defeats Hara Al-Agmi by a score of 2-1. Moving on to the minus 55 kilogram division, which had quite a few athletes that I would have assumed were already qualified. The first qualification match saw Laura Lisek fall to Sevinch Rakimova 4-0. A close fight between Rudina Aleo and Matilda Rosenlind, who would fight to a 2-2 tie. Rosenlind would advance with the Senshu advantage. Rina Koto wins the third match over Virag Molnar 4-1. Veteran fighter Su Ping Q fails to qualify, as she loses to Ayat El Adi 1-0. Medina Sadagova walks through Neja Sipovic 6-0. And in the last match of the round, Lucy Hrdlikova fought great against Viola Lalo, but in the end, it was Lalo that would secure the 3-2 victory and take her shot at Cairo. In the minus 61 kilogram division, the first match was between Altana Bosangova and Nina Rajanovic, where Rajanovic would pull out that win by a score of 1-0. Next up, Puilo would lose to Leja Topovic 2-0. Third match, the young Sydney Yvonne defeats Anthi Stylanu 2-1 in front of the home crowd. Uneventful fourth match, as Katarzyna Lewandowski and Thai Nguyen fight to a 0-0 draw. Nguyen was awarded the decision. Aurora Graziosi walks through Yu Yang 9-1 on her way to Cairo. And in the last match of the division, Amina Sipovic blanks Jasmine Pomeroy 9-0 to advance. Now, there were still a couple of top-ranked athletes in the minus 68 kilogram division looking to gain their spot in Cairo. We start with Hanna Devagili and Lean Knutson, who had a great back and forth, but in the end, Devagili wins that 6-4. Lynn Snell defeats Iman Aja 9-5 in a fast-paced bout. Next, Wendy Riasco comes up short against Mobina Hediarzonshaloy, who we haven't seen in a while out competing, but she does take that match 4-1 in a name that I struggle with every time, but look forward to seeing. Sarah Krivadova takes out Alexandra Adam 4-0 to advance to Cairo, and the world number 8, Janessa Romero, earns her spot by taking out Teodora Kisatovic 8-3. Last match of the division, Konstantina Pepa and Valera Queremi fight to a 0-0 draw. Queremi earns the decision to move on. The last female Kumite division started off with Cirrus Lingo coming up short against Maria Coman, who would win that match 8-2. Second match was between Ofili Malolo and Hanane Marzi, which was an exciting match in which Malolo would win that 8-5. Next match wasn't close as Valera Ishaver would get shut out by Dora Fleischer 8-0. A bit of surprise in the fourth match as up-and-coming star Ulrika Garung falls to Laura Ziller 5-2. Another shocking outcome is world number 6, Amelie Hakova, would lose to Sophie Bednarski 6-1. And in the last match, Ingrid Kremers would defeat Maria Malakava 5-1 to secure her spot in Cairo. Now, the female kata division was pretty well stacked for this event. In the first match of the qualification round, Yanith Castillo's Chatnaro Kusanku defeats Neda Milosevic's Gankaku by 0.8 points. Next, the Anandai of Sofia Fialkova easily beats the Anand of Besmonti by 0.9 points. Fatima Dastak makes quick work of Hui Chain on her Paparin as her Paparin defeats her opponent's Ohandai by 1.5 points. Even bigger victory for Sakura Alforte as her Anandai defeats Chenge Fabian's Chatnara by 2.1 points. Next, Wai Leong's Ohandai would beat out the Chatnara from Georgia Zuinu by 1.3 points. And the biggest matchup of the event, veteran Chiara Manca goes up against the young Gabrielle Henrique. In a battle of Kusanku, Manca chooses Chatnara and Henrique goes with Chabana. In the end, it was Henrique who pulls out the win by 0.4 points and takes her place in Cairo. Now, by all measures, I would have to say that this was a big upset win for the young Brazilian. Manca has been around for quite a long time and has had a lot of success. Great win for Gabrielle, and let's see how far she can take this win into the Worlds and see how she does. The men start off in the minus 60 kilogram division, where the first match saw Saeed Al-Bashir put on a clinic against Kachim Chow, winning that matchup 14-6. Next up, Soitnei Sordia blanks Rasmus Abugard 8-0 to secure his ticket to Cairo. And the third match was the first close matchup of the round, where Nikita Flipiov defeats Martin Drebeck 2-0. Fourth match had Erhan Tornaki over Eric Timmer 7-2. The Senshu was needed for Vahik Veseli to win over Ahmad Halal after their match ended in a 1-1 tie. And in a close fight, the final match saw newcomer Hosper Chatang beat out Adam Hamill 2-1. The minus 67 kilogram division kicks off with Pranay Sharma losing to Joaquim Mendez 3-0 in the first match. An exciting matchup in the second fight where Dominic Judah and Amir Fashtali would go back and forth, where Judah took that matchup by a score of 7-6. Another close matchup between Omar Chaltuni and Amareza Borzoa Chagagolini, where Borzoa Chagagolini pulls out a 3-2 win. Luka Maresca finds his way to Cairo as he defeats David Yanovsky 1-0. The fifth match had Stefan Josic over Vukashin Jovanovic 2-0. And in the final match of the round, Hui Chang defeats Jed Thompson 4-1. Now, Danielle DeVivo defeats Gabrielle Nascimento 5-0 in the first match of the minus 75 kilogram division qualification round. In the next match, David Nguyen easily beats Lucas Bankowski 8-0. Another decisive victory between Surin Harutanen and Guagnam An, where Harutanen wins that 10-1. Much closer match between Carlos Herrera and Nario Lopez, which required the Senshu advantage for Lopez to advance after the 3-3 tied match. And next, we saw Ricardo Franken defeat Beckham Basha 3-0 in their match. And in the final spot available, Sultan Al-Zarani defeats Vaikio Punivia 1-0. To start the minus 84 kilogram division, Brian Buka fought his butt off on the way to the first qualification match, where he fought Vladimir Brzezinski to a 3-3 tied match, but would lose to Brzezinski due to the Senju advantage. Ruben Amu would defeat Mohamed Abudabas 5-2 in the second match. Jesus Moreno would lose to Turgat Hassanov in the third match by a score of 6-3. Close matchup between Jose Acevedo and Demetrius Demetriadis, where Acevedo would pull out the 3-2 win. Hendrik Konfiak impresses the home crowd, where he blanked Mikael Martina 8-0. And in the last matchup, Ashton Patrick defeats Anthony Kelly 4-1. Rounding out the male kumite, the over 84 kilogram division kicked it off with Alexander Davies needing the Senju advantage over Tomas Kosa as they fought to a 4-4 tied match. Pablo Palomino, was winning the match over Anel Castillo, but he would commit too many penalties, offenses, and be disqualified, giving Castillo the match. Close match in the third fight between Asaman Gurbanli and Devontae Walters, where Gurbanli would take home that match 3-2. Akbarshuak Armanodoev, would fight great but fall to Markir Golovan 5-3. High scoring affair between Nikolai Sakat and Edard Sajlian in the fifth match, where Sajlian would pull out a 10-7 victory. And in the last match of the round, Ivan Kudzinow would beat Nemanja Jovovic 5-2. The men's kata division had some top talent still looking to secure their spot in Cairo. First match, Ho Hui Hyung, performance of Chabana, was good enough to beat James Harrison's Super Impe by 1.2 points. In the closest match of the qualification rounds, Thomas Klems's Paparin would beat the Unsu of Verishan Bakarov by 0.1 points. Jure Sluga performed Sansai to defeat the Unsu of Mohamed Shidzi by 1.8 points. Super Impe over Unsu in the fourth match as Morris Talak defeats Rick Sonanema by 1.4 points. And a classic Godishio show between Roman Hadarov and Masagi Kolachek had Hodarev winning that matchup by 0.6 points. And in the final match of the round, Roman Herkus Chetnara dominates the Unsu of Ans Chao by 2.7 points. One key takeaway for me was the amount of youth league athletes at this qualifier. Now, it makes sense in hindsight, but it really wasn't something that I was tracking, and I probably should have been. Since the Veterans Kata division starts at 16, a lot of junior and U21 athletes came out to take their shot in Kata. The same in Kumite, but we do see this more often. As the division is only for 18 plus, it is not uncommon to see U21 athletes in the Veterans division going back and forth at Continental Championships. I was a little shocked at the amount, but when you think about it, it does make total sense. A lot of the athletes who qualified through the Continental Championships might have beat these young guys out, or even more so, some of these guys and gals weren't old enough to compete in the Veterans divisions for the past 2 years of qualification for this year's Worlds. So an event like this is perfect for them to still qualify for the World Championships. Now, I was tracking, and my thinking was this event would be perfect for someone like Fatima Dastak. And it was. But if you look at how she has to get there, she's got a tough road every year at the Continental Championships, right? She has the world number 1 and 2 in her division every year. So in hindsight, what happens is she has a ton of bronze medals from the Asian Championships. But she isn't going to get in that way. But with this event, she qualified. So let's see how her bronzes at a tough Continental Championships matches up against the competitors that, let's be fair, have an easier Continental titles to win every year. And with that, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Traditional Way. Join me on the next episode where I'll start to preview the World Championships and make my predictions on what I believe is going to happen. Until then, continue to support the Martial Arts Internet Network by liking and sharing all of our content. And I'm going to leave you guys with one more look at the athletes that qualified for the World Championships in Paris. Till next time, guys.